Thank you for joining the Fret Sisters for another episode of Fret Tea Talk. Sit back and enjoy.
Here we are, Jenny Jam, Autumn Rose, Shorn Marshall, and Nicole Rose. Welcome to Between Frets, a space where female musicians meet and discuss all things music.
All right, we're going to be talking about all-girl bands, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And oh my gosh, this topic. Oh man, are we going to be spilling some tea or what? But really, just the whole thing about girl bands, female musicians, ladies bands, people call them that too. I have to admit that there's been a lot of negative on it, especially negative press when national bands, national girl groups that have been together, they break up. And of course, it's always the same reason, right? They never talk about the all guys, but,
Yep.
But being in a girl band, there are some advantages and disadvantages, but we wonder why they don't last long. So does anybody want to talk about, you can even talk about your own experience about what the advantages and disadvantages might be to be in a girl band.
I'm going to just start with one topic of all girl bands that don't last long. Many of them, from what I read or what I hear, a lot of them would like to, maybe one or two want to have a solo career. Also, a lot of the girls, some bands are manufactured, but one reason it's, after a year or two, someone wants to go solo and have a solo career, or they outlive the band. They grow out of it. That's one reason.
Being in an all-girl band does have an advantage because, of course, it's still seen as like a, what do you call it? What's a novelty? That's it. I was thinking of a word like that started with the letter N, but yeah, it's like a novelty. So, of course, people are going to look at that, and people are going to look at the musicians. And really, it's the advantage of if you can stand out in that girl band. Yes, you could do solo. You could go into a solo career. That's where a lot of those girl bands start to break up, because somebody might be getting more, famous or more presence in the group, and people pay attention to that. So that's the big advantage, getting in there. I know for me, I have a lot of experience in all-girl bands. And the perfect example was me being in a girl band that actually got us a national gig with Salt and Pepper, High Five, and Crystal Waters. So just because we were in an all-girl band, we were able to get those gigs. And so I always say, for me, because I wasn't really that great, I think that it was just lucky that I landed a gig in that girl band, and then we got seen. We were noticed. And that's how I went out on tour. So, it's kind of like not really a downplay on me, but really it's because I was in this girl band was the reason why I experienced all the touring. So that was a big advantage.
Don't generally girl bands last longer than girl singing groups? Because aren't bands just, people plugged, I need a guitarist, I need a drummer, bassist, this and the third. Don't they tend to last longer than actual singing groups because it's more of a for hire thing? Because I really don't know. Are there bands together that are all females actually tour and okay, we are a collective group and we don't go without the other four? Or is it just a bunch of people put together?
Do you mean in a sense of like a national act?
Yeah, because I'm trying to think of today girl bands that actually play instruments that are out there doing it. I can't think on top of my head, because I think that's sort of different than a girl singing group. They tend to break up every 5 minutes. But I think if you have a band of musicians, a female, I think they tend to stick together longer.
I think so. We could take the for national acts that have, girl bands that have gone nationally. Climax is one.
Yeah.
Climax didn't last that long.
Okay.
Then we have the Bangles. I don't know if you know the Bangles. They were out. When were they out?
They're the 80s, right?
Yeah, they were
the
80s.
Yeah.
Yep. And they lasted pretty long, but you had a couple people in that group that actually made it solo and were able to keep that solo career, but they also broke up. There's another band called Vixen. It's a hair metal. That's another 80s band, but they're like hair metal or hair bands. They were in the hair band days. They were all female, and they broke up. Like, they didn't even last that long, but they broke up. And those weren't manufactured. They were just, a bunch of musicians that kind of came together, whether they knew each other as friends or whatever. Like, some of them knew each other and formed this group. So they weren't like manufactured or put together by a record company. It was more like they were just playing around looking for a record deal type thing. I don't know about recently. Are there any recent boy bands?
Like, the people I think of are like Taste the Honey, like the 70s and 80s and things of that nature.
Yeah.
But I think, like Karen said, after a while, either you get tired of that vibe or someone always stands out in a group that always gets more attention.
Right.
And I think after a while, they're like, well, hey, people are coming to see me.
Yeah.
Let me go on and do my own thing.
Right. They'll get the offer. A lot of the all-girls bands, majority of them were women bands that played rock and metal.
Yeah.
With the exception of Climax, and I'm talking about the ones that were famous, that went to the Grammys or were nominated. Climax is the only R&B or pop women's group other than Taste the Honey, Climax, that I could recall that played their instrument. You had the Go-Go's, Betty.
What about Heart?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Heart
was, that. Remember, that wasn't an all-girl band.
Oh, it wasn't?
Two sisters.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
And just like, Indigo Girls, it's two of them, but they had guys playing behind them.
Yeah.
Wilson
But
Phillips?
you had like bands like Fanny, was all women's at 60s, 70s. You had the Donnas. Dixie Chicks, again, there was three of them, but they had guys in the background.
Yeah, we're talking about like...
But girls like the Betty Band and the Go-Go's, the Bangles.
I forgot about the Go-Go's. Yeah, the Go-Go's. Also, the Go-Go's, the same thing. They have like those behind-the-scenes stories out there, the documentaries, and their stuff was bad too. But yeah, we're talking about like female bands that are like all female musicians, not like Heart. Heart is just two women up front.
Right.
Okay. And that's what I meant. Nowadays, I think if people like, Beyonce and everyone else who hires these all-female, have all females backing them, they aren't abandoning themselves. They come together and they make a band, and they might have lifelong relationships, but they move on. So I'm like, in today's age, is it really a thing to have all-female musicians? Is that really a thing that people are striving for to have? You know what I mean?
Some of those females that get those national gigs with those artists, most of the times they're playing in female bands. That's how they get noticed. They stand out. So that's, and now I'm thinking that the national artists are taking note of that. For some reason, now females are really dominating the industry, that they want this female band. Now, those female bands that are getting hired by artists aren't like how when I was in a female band back in the 90s, we were an actual group that an artist like saw us and took everybody in that group. Well, took that group. But nowadays, you're separate. You're just your own entity. Which I wish I could have done back then, that I was like my own entity and not part of a group. And those are ideal situations, because then you're not married to this band and you don't have to deal with their drama, because you're getting paid by yourself. You know what I mean? It's not like a group thing like back when I did. Oh my gosh, I'm telling you, there was a lot. I went through a lot of the stereotypical stuff that everybody talks about a female band. The egos, who has their period, if somebody has what's that? What's PMS? That's what it is.
Yes.
All that stuff. Fighting over boyfriends and girlfriends. I was in this one band where the bass player was dating the lead singer's ex-girlfriend, and there was a huge fight on that. I was just like, come on, man. Yes, I dealt with a lot of fights, a lot of girl fights, a lot of evil, like just terrible, like the way they treated each other. Like, I never got involved in stuff like that, but I saw stuff like that. But the good thing also was that we got a lot of gigs, and I was able to sit there and figure out my strategy of how I could be separate from, like, as far as image and stuff. and you get a lot of exposure too. So
I was going to piggyback on what you were saying about the Beyonce band. I did audition for the band for the act in New York at Sony Records, and no, that was audition. You got the audition, and you were on the payroll. And it's not manufactured, but you just auditioned to be in that orchestra, and they played for 5 years, but they were on payroll. Now the next artist that may do the same thing, and I hope I'm not jumping the gun, is Lizzo. Because she said it on live TV that she's interested in getting an all-women's band. Lizzo, that's in movies right now in Hustler, and she's on tour, and so she's the next one. I've had several women's bands, and I've been in a lot of women's bands. I haven't had too many bad experiences. I currently have Girls Night Out and my Autumn Rose band out of New York City and the Southeast and the Northeast. But I just call whoever's available, like I did at the IMS. I just call who's available. Listen, we're going to do this. And it's not really it's a band of women playing together, but they're only paid for the gig. That way I don't have to do that thing of, oh, you're not well, or, you have to go out of town and you're on tour. Everything that comes with it. It's a different time. And lastly, I'm going to mention that today's women's bands dominate in tribute. You have the rock women's bands. All women's bands today are usually they are tribute bands of rock.
Yeah, you're right.
I see that in LA and New York, the main cities. They'll do Led Zeppelin, Motley Crue,
Iron Maiden,
Depeche Mode,
Iron Maiden,
AC/DC, and on. And Zepparella. They're all tribute bands, and that's how they're making their money. And from there, they leapfrog to their stardom. Yeah,
they do. Because Nita Strauss, she was in the Iron Maidens,
right.
And when Orianthi left Alice Cooper,
right,
Nita Strauss stood out a lot in that group in the Iron Maiden. So somebody referred her, and that's how she got the gig. She's with Alice Cooper, and she's making a name for herself.
Right, Gretchen Menz, Zepparella.
Yeah, I mean there are a few that I think of, but like I said, there are rock bands. We have one that we interviewed last year from the Tubes band.
Oh,
Gabby,
that's right.
Logan.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
They're all girls band, and then there's one out of LA. They're all black rock band, and they're the Onyx band. They're in California, and they are really dope. They do original music and covers, but they have original music as well. And my thing is, like you said, Autumn, a lot of it is rock, and I don't know if it's more of they're trying. A lot of these female bands are doing it to fit in, or if that's really a genre that they like, because they know if I do rock or if I do this, I can get paid. I can put food on my table. Or if I do rock and I dress grungy, that's the style, maybe I can do this. Is it really because you want to be in a female band, or are you doing it because it's trend? Well,
look at the music industry right now. Well, first of all, those are 70s, 80s, 90s cover tribute bands. There are really no rock bands today not many, that are huge, that a band of women would try to emulate. Like maybe the Police and their 80s band. How many R&B bands or hip hop bands are really popular for women to say, hey, you know what? Let's do a tribute band for an R&B band of an R&B artist. When R&B is really not as popular as it was in the 90s.
I mean, it's still popular. My thing is, it just depends on what you listen to. If you go by what's on the radio, that's. Hey,
Yeah, well,
it's awesome.
Pop is probably number one. I'm going to guess. Pop is number one. And how many women's bands will be an all jazz band? There are some, but they're in major cities that I see, or in New Orleans, or major cities. But I'm talking, big bands that will be tribute. They're usually, I would say, 9 out of 10 are rock.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It doesn't. I want to know why if they feel that it has to be tribute. Why can't we get these bunch of girls together and let's make an original album like Maroon 5? Why is that not the go-to? Why is that not the thought? I want to know, okay, Maroon 5 did it, White Snake did it from the 80s. Why can't we get 5 women together and have us all play instruments, and let's go out here and let's bring that 80s vibe of women getting together bands back? That's why I want to know when that wave is going to happen,
It could be the industry, or, who's interested in that right now. there have to be a couple of bands to just do it and see how it goes.
Yeah. Like I said, the Tulips are doing it, and they're doing it a good job with it. So
that
the Tulips are doing it. They're traveling, and Onyx is doing it. I just want to see more female women do it and feel like they don't have to be a tribute. They can be their own entity.
Now, what kind of music does the Tulips play, and what kind of music does the Onyx band play?
That's what I'm saying. They I think I know the Tulips are rock.
Right.
I think the Onyx are rock and R&B.
Okay, but you hear what that foundation is, rock.
Yeah.
So that's what
right. That's what I said. Autumn. Like, why does it always rock? Why can't That's what I'm saying. It's always rock. I don't know if they feel like if it's a genre that people actually want to hear from women, or that they love it, or they feel that's the only thing that's going to be profitable or marketable.
Well, if I do a all women's rock band and say women of color, meaning, Asian, Jewish, Black, Latina, everything, I would cover Living Color.
I am in a female band. We're just like a collective of female musicians in the area that get together whenever there's a show. So we don't play a lot, but that's jazz and R&B. So that's not rock, but yeah, why is that the trend of that?
It may be the demand, or it's more popular, and it's also a gimmick to see another race of women playing a genre that they really didn't play that much in the 80s or 90s. So if you see an all Latina band not playing Latin music or not playing soul, but they're going to play metal, that's enticing, I think, to the public. And that's what I would say. Just like the Tulips you say out of Atlanta, Georgia, they're playing rock. Are they the first? No, but they're playing metal, rock. They're playing original music, and just like the girls in the lady band in L.A., California, Onyx band. Remember, they're women of color playing music that maybe, I guess, 40 years ago you wouldn't even hear an all-black band doing it. So that's what it probably is. I do play with Black Women's Rock Orchestra, and they play all styles of music, metal, rock, blues. But again, you're hired per gig. It's not a band. And my group is the Collective. I just made phone calls, got a couple of musicians together, and I call it Girls Night Out. The Collective, meaning I just call whoever's available, and it's just easier for me.
Do you think if you're making a female band or in a female band, there's more leniency about how you look and how you dress as opposed to being a hired gun, so to speak?
Yeah, I think to me, just my experience being in female bands, that image matters a lot. Like, it matters a lot, unfortunately.
It does.
If you have a look, being on stage and stuff, like you have to, really show off. Yeah, it's terrible.
You think you have to be flashy if you wanted to be in a? Because I see not to just keep pushing off. Just want to come to mind, like Beyonce's band. There's Ariel, and then there was what's her name, Simone. They are good players, but they have a good stage presence. So when they're on there, you notice them. They have, they engage the crowd. So whereas if it was just them in an all-girl band by themselves, I think maybe they may be a little more tame. They won't feel like they would have to show out as much, if that makes sense. Not saying that's a bad thing, but am I making sense of what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think so. I know when you're in if you're playing for national artists or international artists, you have to stand out. You're expected, I guess. I don't know. Am I right?
No, you're right. Well, first of all, there's a couple of things there. It's your image, and you have to fit. Like when the producer hires me or anyone else, you have to have a look. You have to have an image that fits them, what they're promoting. You have to be a good player. Sure, there's some requirements, but remember, the production company is going to tell you what they want you to wear, and how you're going to act on stage. Because it's theater drama on stage. You think Simone, acts like that? No, she's told what to do. They're told to jump around, or they're told what to wear. They have to sign for that.
When I get hired to play for Climax, Bernadette Cooper's Climax,
right.
She tells me, or she tells us, like, we have to wear heels. She tells me, I want you to show off your tattoos. She'll pick music out for me, so she knows that she wants me to be like the rock girl out there. So for those type of gigs, I mean, I'll go all out. Like I'll wear the heels, I wear the false eyelashes, I put my half wigs on because it's bigger because you're on a bigger stage, so you have to be bigger. So that's what I'm thinking, like how you're talking about Beyonce, that you have to be big because then you're going to get buried in the back.
That's true.
You can't. But even like these local acts are the same way. Like when I was in the one girl band out here, I would wear like my half wigs and maybe some false eyelashes. Like I would always be like a little bit more of an image. I would have pink hair at one time, or something like that, just so I would stand out from the rest, because I didn't want to be lost in a sea of women,
That's true. That makes sense.
Well,
that makes sense.
When I worked with some of the orchestras, the women's orchestras, they would have a stylist come in at your rehearsal. I mean, there's like an entourage, tons of people there at your rehearsal, and there's the makeup artist.
Oh, I wish I had that.
Oh my god! I mean, it's like this is years ago, but when I played the big stages with these girls, and yeah, they would have the makeup artist, but they would ask me, what do you want to do? What is your effect or for your face? And then your stylist, what kind of style? So I would say I'm military, so I would look like I'd wear stuff like what Janet Jackson would wear, because that's comfortable for me. So they said, that's good. Okay, that's cool. That's your look. So that's why I would dress that way, because that's more my image. The heels things, I would wear boots instead of heels. The makeup, they would ask me, and then, but they would have all these people work on it. And that's how it goes with your contract and how you get paid. They pretty much, they let you be yourself, but they will definitely make, some requests.
Oh, that's top shelf right there.
Tell me about it. I wish you see, that's what I wish I had in some of these girl bands, because and I'm talking the local ones, not the national ones. The local ones is like, oh, okay, what color are we going to wear? Every time I play, even like now when I'm like just get hired to play for a girl thing, if there's like a church thing and they want a woman's day or something, they're all like, okay, well, what are we going to wear? Like, come on, man. Because they would be like, oh, let's okay, we're going to do all white. And like, I'm telling you, all white does not look good on me. I hate wearing all white. And some of these women in here, some of their outfits, you know what I mean? Like you go out to Target or something, you're going out somewhere to buy a white outfit and it looks bad. Yeah. So that's when I wish we had a stylist. Like if you have a stylist that makes me a white outfit, then yeah, I'll wear it. But it's like, I'm not going to go out and buy white because I never wear it.
Exactly. Now, when I play, again, when I get hired, when I play with Jack Benson or the Apollo, they don't even tell you what to wear. What they say? They just say, where you're playing. I'll see you there. And none of us dressed alike. And when I did the IMS with my ladies girls night out, I didn't say anything. They would say, well, let's just be comfortable. Be yourself. I as a band leader, I say be comfortable. You know where you're playing. If you're going to play the Apollo, you're going to be on camera.
Yeah.
You're going to play at a restaurant. Or I just tell people to be comfortable. There are no colors. You're going to play a wedding. You know how to dress for a wedding or a corporate gig. I mean, you should know better. But when I play with the big, they let you. They'll ask you what you're going to wear. But we all basically in the orchestra, we're the back band. Most of us will wear kind of something in black and not a whole lot of colors. We'll usually wear something, but we'll do our own thing, our own style. But it's also checked off. Sometimes they ask you what you're wearing and they'll ask to see it to make sure it's for their image. They want a certain image. It's all about that.
A couple of the women that I talked to was like musicians and vocal coaches that I've had. So I was like, so what do you wear? And all of them said usually black. It's like always, it's like most of my closet, my drawers are all various colors of black. That's all I wear. So I'm always prepared. So I'm like, is it still like that today? Pretty much where you're going is either black or white. 9 times out of 10, you're going to wear black.
Yeah, it seems like black is like the biggest thing as far as
best color. Yeah.
Well, especially if you're going to play like at a casino, which is a corporate gig, or if you're going to wear the girl's tuxedo type thing, it's black and white or black, white color. But it's just like that. It also, I'm going to tell you what I think. A lot of women choose black because you look slimmer.
Yeah.
And you look slimmer in photos. And that's.
I think it's just easy.
It's easy to find black. and they're not too many, different shades of black. But I think one of the reasons, I'm just gonna say one of the reasons, because you look slimmer, and everybody has to think about wanting to look thin.
And it doesn't show sweat stains.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Hey, don't go anywhere. We have more coming right after this break.
What is good, everybody? This is Shawn Marshall from Fret Sisters. Make sure you follow us on social media and IG and like us on Facebook with Fret Sisters. You will catch up with us behind the scenes, get all the tea on what us founders are doing individually outside of Fret Sisters.
So, Shawn, you've been in a couple. No, you've been in one band, right? I remember.
Yes.
How was that?
Well, it was a dream, and thank God that it actually came true. It was an experience because that first gig that I played as my debut, we had to wear a dress. I had to wear a black dress, and the artist picked it for me. I didn't pick that dress. But when she told me to send the pictures of the shoes, I was like, I knew she was gonna make me pick this 5.5-inch stiletto shoe to go with that dress. And when I performed, it was a little difficult me stepping these pedals with these shoes because I was like, okay, this is a funny true story. I had to hold the microphone stand, trying not to fall and bust my behind, stepping on a pillow with those shoes. I'm like, oh my Lord. I was like, but the next gig, the following gig after that, she said, just be cute. And says, I was like, good, I can wear a nice sexy top and some jeans, and I can just put on some Jordans and call it a day. Thank the Lord. Because I want to go through that again.
Yep. I'm telling you, man, that's a thing too, is whenever I have to wear heels, I make sure I'm like, okay, well, I'm wearing like platforms. They're either going to be platforms or wedges, because I can't perform in heels. Like, I know that I'm going to fall on my butt. So I know if I have to do heels, that I make sure that I find something that I know that I could stand in and jump in.
I probably prefer a wedge.
I'll tell you though, just from one experience that I had playing with Crystal Waters out on tour in Japan, she actually had outfits made for the band. Also, she had these wigs. Here I am. I've never worn a wig back then. I never wore a wig in my whole life. And I had this long, curly, bushy hair. So I put on this wig and they like stuffed my hair. It looked horrible. I mean, I looked like a person that was trying to wear a wig. And I wore it for one show, for the first show. And when Crystal Waters saw that, she's like, take that wig off, just do your natural hair. So everybody had like the same wigs because she wanted everybody to have like the same hair. But when she said, I saw you go up there, do a solo, and I saw your hair sticking out from under the wig, she's like, no. So after that, she's like, just wear your natural hair. I was laughing. I was like, oh my gosh, thank you. It's just like Shawn wearing the stilettos. It's like,
it was horrible.
You know, like if you look uncomfortable, like, okay, no, don't wear that.
Yeah. I mean, but you would think being in an all-female band, they would be more aware. Like, as another woman, I would want you to be uncomfortable. You would think that, you think more like, for the guys, they want somebody sexy behind them. But for an all-female band, it's like, I wouldn't request you to wear a wig where you're going to sweat that out in 5-inch heels that you could topple over. Mm-hmm. I mean, you would think they would say that.
Yeah, but no. Yeah. It's all about the image,
Yeah. It's all about your image, and you have to look natural as much as possible. But I don't think it's as much today than it was maybe 10, 15 years ago, that you were required to look a certain way. I see women looking more like themselves. Some women, they dress for their body shape. They do the makeup for their face. It's not. Like if I wear heels, like I said earlier, it's going to be boots. I can wear the boots. It seems like it's a little more, but heels, no, I can't step on a pedal board. I'm going to fall. It's going to be all over social media. So I'm like,
I think now with social media, like people just want people that can play or sing. That's what it comes down to, I think. And I mean, how you look it still matters, but it's not a main factor because you're not, eye candy anymore. It's like, okay, this person can actually play,
And that's why I think going back to the rock and metal genre being more females, like those tribute bands that Autumn was talking about, I think the skill level of those female musicians that are in those type of bands, playing Iron Maiden, playing Led Zeppelin, playing Guns N' Roses, that skill level to be seeing a female play like that, you know what I mean? Play that type of music.
True.
I think that's a good, like, what do you call it? That's like money. That's good money,
It's more than campfire songs they're playing up there. They're actually shredding up there. So that makes sense.
Yeah, they're playing. You have to be, first of all, you have to be very good on your instrument. And then second, you have to have a look that works with their image. And it could be anything nowadays. Anything goes.
The Fred Sisters band is coming out. Just let y'all know.
Oh man, that'd be so awesome.
Well, Karen, you're more the professional girl band.
No, I don't think it's more professional. Well, that's because I was hired.
Yeah, those are more hired. Like you're not in an actual female band that like all got together and you're like playing around town doing local covers. Those are the type of bands.
I hire.
Yeah, those are the type of bands, and I would get hired a lot. But I know, like back then when I first started in that first all-female go-go band that got hired from Salt and Pepper, like those women in that group, I pretty much stuck with them for years. And we were, we got a lot of national gigs, but we also played around locally. Nicole, you've never been in a female band, right? Or you just know people that have been in female bands?
I've been to a few, rehearsals and things like that. But the way it didn't work out. But a lot of the reasons and one of them, I was the youngest one there, and I felt like I was at a geriatric meeting, and I was like, no thanks. And
oh my
and the
God.
other one, like I told you before, I just wasn't prepared for that one. So it's like, but the vibe was cool. But the one that I wasn't prepared for, it was like it was like 12 people. It was like horns. It was like 2 drum. I mean, it was legit a huge band.
Wow.
That's awesome. And that would have been awesome. But like I said, I was prepared. And the other one, it was like I was like playing for Shady Pines, and I'm like, no, I can't. No, thank you.
Yeah.
But other than that, no.
When I get back home, I'm going to, start my band back again. But I'm calling. I have one person a couple of people that I always call. And one is Kim Clark, the bassist, which she's available. And Debbie Hawkins on keys. And Elizabeth Ames, who used to play with Chuck Berry. I use her too. And, people that are, but New York City has, and LA and San Francisco, Atlanta, DC, Chicago, Philly, those large cities have more women musicians. I'm here in South Carolina, and I tried to put a band together, and it was impossible.
Oh, that's Quartet Central where you are.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, no, I had a few girls. We played, but I would say, hey girls, listen, we have a gig. And they're like, well, no, I got this, I got to, they just really don't stick together as much. I noticed that in small towns. It's really difficult. And I have one sister, her name is Amanda Goforth. Her father, her late father was the bassist for James Brown. She's an amazing player. There's some great women down here, but to put them in an all-women's band, they'd rather do something else. It seems they'd rather be in bands with me.
Mm-hmm.
That's my impression. I've been here long enough.
I think,
and even myself, I just said, heck, I played yesterday with Solar 5-7, and I'm and guys were coming up to me like, female guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, I'm like one of the only female guitarists that plays an electric guitar, not a acoustic.
Yeah.
And I'm very rare down here in Greenville, South Carolina. I'm like, gosh, there should be more there aren't really that many here. It's a small town.
Yeah, I think a lot of that has to do with that females rather play with a male group is because you stand out more. I mean, you do get buried in being in an all-girl band unless you stand out. I don't know. There's just so much drama.
It's a whole lot of drama.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? For me, when I played yesterday, people coming up to me, but I actually feel like I'm just part of the band and not that I'm the female guitarist. I don't really down here. I don't look at it that way. I know I'm approached, but I don't really look at it that way. For me, in a female band or any band, I think what I stick out for is the types of guitars I play. Because they'll say, "Wow, what kind of guitar is that?" Or "What are you playing?" Or what style are you playing? And I think that's the only thing I believe I stick out as a guitar player, the type of guitars I play.
Yeah.
I think with the popularity of Instagram and things, being a female musician in general is not a rare anymore. Because you have people killing. Like now the thing is, you have 2-year-olds that I want you to go on tour with me, and they're only 2 and they're playing better than you. I think now that's the thing, because you see all these young kids that are killing out here. And Lenny Kravitz, I don't know if you know the little boy drummer. Lenny Kravitz, next tour, man, you gonna come and play a couple songs. The boy is 6, he has a gig. You know what I mean?
Those are child prodigies too. There are a lot of that. There's the Asian little girl that I think she's only 6 years old.
Yeah, there's one that's 12. There's one that's 13. But my thing is, when you get to female musicians, after a while, all these people want. I think it's a trend. So I think if you love to play, if it's in your heart that you've always wanted to have a female band, do that. But don't put one together because it's trend, because that's not going to last.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Right. But there's a thing of egos too. You'll have some chicks that, just think they're, God's gift, or they should be treated, they should get more money, or they should go out on solo, or they're the best. And you get that. I'm not going to say that it's not in male bands either, but you see it in women's bands. They'll put one in the front and she's the best, and then she goes off solo. That breaks up a band. When someone's out there with drugs or alcohol, or that will break up. They'll leave. They'll be replaced by someone else that's younger. Sometimes women get older and then they want someone younger. That goes back to the image.
I think it's the
women,
people that
get married when I have a family, so then they retire from it.
But isn't it the public who picks their favorite? I mean, you know what I mean? In all these, even if you just look at the girl bands, not the girl bands, but the girl groups, even the girl bands, there's always one that the public sort of takes up. This is the one I like, and everyone likes him. This is my favorite.
Yeah.
And
I'll give you a couple of examples. I don't want to forget. Let's go back to the Supremes. Then what happened is Diana Ross was put out in the front.
Yep.
She went out solo. Let's look at today. Fifth Harmony, Mela Cabello. She was treated and she was pushed out the front. Now
tell me bands, not singing groups.
Oh, now I was just answering the.
I know. Well, but is there the same thing with the band? So there's the Go-Go's.
Yeah.
When you think of the Go-Go's, who do you think of? Belinda Carlisle.
Yep.
There's always a favorite.
Okay, so when you think of Climax, who do you think of?
Me? I think of Bernadette.
Yep, I think of Bernadette. And Joyce and Fenderella. Those are the only two that stand out to me.
But even if I know Heart was backed by men, but if you think of Heart, there's always one sister that sticks out more than the other. There's always one that people pick.
I don't think so. I think they're pretty. Yeah, I think both of them are pretty equal.
What are their names?
Nancy Wilson and Ann Wilson.
See, the only one I know is Nancy. I don't even know who Ann is.
Anne's a singer.
See, I don't know who that is.
Nancy's a great guitar player.
Yeah.
The best.
Who else? Who else? Oh yeah, the Bangles. Oh yeah, the Bangles was that lead singer. Look, I don't even know what her name is.
See?
So the Bangles didn't last that long. I don't even know if there's ever going to be a signed, or not even a signed. You can't even say signed anymore. That's so yesterday.
Yeah.
A all girl band out on the scene, out on the the music scene or the music industry. Like, what would it, a recording artist? How's that? A recording artist that's an all-girl band, like how it was with Climax, like the Go-Go's, like the Bangles. Oh yeah, the Runaways. I forgot to put them in there. Lita Ford and Joan Jett came out of that. But will there ever be an all-girl band out in the recording industry?
Well, there's also Betty, the band Betty. They've been out since the 80s, and that's three
Betty
sisters and Alice and Betty, the band. They wrote for a lot of HBO TV shows. They're on tour, and
I never heard of them.
Me neither.
That's a New York-based.
I'm talking like national scene. I'm talking,
but they are national. Yeah, they're New York-based. They were national based on television. They wrote for like the HBO shows, so that's where they blew up. As far as you would hear their music, you just didn't know who they were. But I hope that the Tulips coming out of Atlanta.
Oh, that's right.
I hope they, Gabby and them. I just know. See, again, Gabby, I think is the original. She's the lead guitar player, and she's the manager of the band and the lawyer of the band, and so on. I hope they do that.
Yeah. See, the only one that pops in my head that's national is Alabama Shakes, and it's only Brittany that's the front. All the rest of the guys. Yeah. So that doesn't count.
That doesn't count.
Well, Brittany's the only woman, though. She's the female guitar player. Now she's on tour with Alabama Shakes, and she does her own things.
Yeah. So as I'm saying, there's I don't know.
I'm looking up female bands, and they have an end date. You know what I mean? Like an end date of 2012 or an end date of 2002. So
that's when auto-tune came in and everybody lost talent and stuff.
I don't see, I think I mentioned this band Vixen. They are actually out again playing. But they're like, I'm talking about a band like the Go-Go's. Everybody knew who they were. Like everybody. You know, it didn't matter what genre you were into. The same with Climax. There's nothing like that now. I don't think there ever will be, to tell you the truth.
I mean, there could be. It's going to take someone like the Tulips or the Onyx Band. Or,
the Tulips,
thousands. I'm sure there are thousands that we don't know that people are screaming when they listen to this. So what about this band? What about this band? But it's just going to have to take some kids right now that are on YouTube to get their friends back in the day and make a garage band and go out. That's what it's going to take. But at least back then they had examples. We don't have any today. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to announce this now. The Pressers are coming out with an album next July. I'm just kidding.
Look, no, we're going to come out with a band. It doesn't have to be us. We can like bring in like the up and coming, out there.
Keep it compilation album.
Oh,
compilation album.
Hey, good. Yeah, I'm telling you, I am sitting here trying to Google something. Oh, this is a good article. Where are all the girl groups? Oh,
see?
Right. Well, I think
that's something we can strive for.
They may be local.
That's something we can strive for. 2020, let's, get some girl bands and start put out a wave. Like they have American Idol, we can have girls jam or something. I don't know.
Yeah, like
get the bands together.
Like the female rappers that you didn't see some for the longest time, and now you got a bunch of female rappers hitting the scene now. So we need that with an all-female band, not a female group, but we need a female band. Yeah. Like, let's get the drummer, the bass, the guitar, the keys. Like, where's all that? They're all playing behind artists now.
Right. That's the main thing. A lot of women are like, if I play behind a signed artist, maybe I can get out there.
Yep.
And I think it's about where the money is and the exposure. So, example, if Lizzo, like she said, is going to get an all-women's band of all ages, all sizes, she mentioned it. So a lot of women are like, let me audition for Lizzo because she's already nominated. She's got a Billboard Award or she's been nominated. So they're going to flock to that because that's a faster way to get to the top than just go into the garage and start a band. Mm-hmm. Why don't I play with a signed artist first? That's what most people would do.
But we have so many options now. Like, even when we're doing the Fret Sisters, we have connected with so many wonderful musicians. Yeah. Like Shorn said, there's no issue of like, okay, we know drummers, we know this, we know that. Shorn sings and everyone does their thing. We can all be in different states and put this girl band together and make something, even if it's not us. We can start a wave. We're like, okay, a drummer, let's get a band together. I don't care if it's a one-hit wonder. Let's get those one-hit wonders going so we can spark the minds of these younger musicians to say, okay, we don't only have to play behind the main artist. We can be the main artist.
Oh my, Oh my gosh. Yes.
Nicole is preaching right now.
Yep.
I know, she's right. Yeah.
We're gonna do it.
Yeah.
So whoever's listening, and if you know any female musicians, hit us up. We're gonna put something out. You can do it at the comfort of your own home. Your own.
Sure. I mean, let's get this wave started. We can start a new wave. Let's do it,
Yay.
y'all.
Yeah, I'm still trying to look for girl bands. I mean, they look like they're more rock, though. It seems like rock is like, maybe there's not as much drama in rock.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
I think that, like I said earlier, I think that more people will go see an all-women rock band. How many people go see an all-women hip-hop band?
Mm-hmm.
Have there been any?
But you know why? I think there are not, because in the genre of hip-hop, they don't really use live instruments as much. They'll use the 808. They'll use, you know, they're going to use crap. They're using, you know, listen to most of the music. It's not a real drummer, not a real bass player, no guitar player at all.
Oh.
Basically keys and a pad. So why do they need a band?
True.
Yeah.
And that's what I see in pop. And, you know, I'm not talking about Imagine Dragon. No, they're considered rock. I think they're more pop. But music like that, you can get women's bands to play that pop rock kind of music. But when you go to hip hop, you look at most of the hip hop when they're on television. They, you know, they're not using real.
You know, I like what Nicole said about trying to start the wave again about this, because when I think about it, even like bands that are out there right now that are like in the alternative scene or the pop scene, they're actual bands of guys and they're making hits. So it's like, why isn't there like that with the female sense? It doesn't even have to be R&B or hip hop or whatever, but why isn't there an actual band like that of female players putting out hits that are on the radio? Like these guy bands, like there's still guy bands. I mean, you see a lot of the girl groups, the guy groups, the solo artists. We need to start that wave. I'm sorry. I was just thinking about that.
I'm serious.
But, okay, so before we end this, name some current national artists. We kind of already did, but the current national artists that are hiring all-girl bands right now. So we can get our female musicians out there pumped up. So get out there on social media, because that's most of the time when the talent scouts they'll be looking out there and then DMing you to audition. So who's currently, we know Lizzo is looking.
You have CeeLo Green.
CeeLo Green, that's right. CeeLo Green.
You have Adam Lambert.
Adam Lambert, yeah.
That's all I can think of on top of my head right now.
What's her name? The Fifth Harmony. I know Fifth Harmony.
Normani.
Yep. And the other one, there's a Lauren. Does she have? I know she had female players behind her. She had that guitarist, Guitar Anna. I don't know what her name is. I know her Instagram, but she's like a white chick that plays. She's on Pickup Jazz a lot.
I know you're talking about
Ariana.
Yeah,
yeah. She played behind the other Fifth Harmony chick, Lauren. I don't know them. Oh my gosh, I don't know their names. But there's one called.
No, I just know Cabello, who's the number one, and then you have Normani, who's working with Ed Sheeran and.
Oh yeah, Camilla. Yeah, she did hire a female band before.
Yeah.
Adam Lambert.
Next Saturday.
Who else? There was somebody else Adam Lambert, which I love seeing, by the way. And what I also love seeing, it's usually a drum, guitar, and a keyboard player, or a drum and guitar for like R&B and stuff, because guitar wasn't prominent. So they're like, we don't need a guitar player. We just hire bass, drums, and keys. But that's what I love seeing, is that some of these artists aren't even including like all instruments, but a guitarist is there. So there's a chance for a female guitarist to go out there and try to land some of those gigs.
Like Prince did with Third Girl.
Oh, Third Eye Girl. That's right. Prince.
Now, Prince did that, and he put those girls,
yeah,
they were rock, funk with him. And
that was Donna.
Yeah, Donna Grantis.
Ida Nielsen. And who was the third one?
You're talking about the drummer?
Yeah, I can't think of the drummer's name, but yeah.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
But Prince was good for female musicians anyway. He loved that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hannah. Her name's Hannah. Maybe I've just been seeing a lot of artists, national artists that are hiring female musicians, but not just all girl bands. Is that it though? I guess.
I think that's it. I mean,
I thought there were
The
more.
ones that are, I should say the ones that are popular, that are on not only social media but on TV, and you see them on shows. So there are probably some.
Sheila E. has a lot of women.
Oh, yeah.
But she doesn't have an all women.
Yeah, she doesn't have all girls
No,
band.
she doesn't. No.
Remember, I think a lot of women that are in the front, they to make sure that the attention is on them. They don't really hire all women behind them because they want to be up front and they want the attention on them being the women. So they say a female bass player is front lead, she's not going to hire a female guitarist or female drummer, or even maybe a female keyboard player, but she's going to hire guys so that all the attention that she's the woman, she's the only one, and she's the leader of that band.
Mm-hmm.
I see that.
You do have a point.
That's a good point too, as far as like those, up and coming musicians that want to get out there and play in those type of situations. Is that yes, when you get hired by an artist in anything, you do not upstage the star. You don't.
Yeah.
I mean, even like in my current band where I'm not playing for an all-female band, but my main band, Pebble to Pearl, I make sure that I don't upstage the singer. Like this is her band. I still make sure that I, whatever situation I'm in, that I'm not going to upstage whoever, the one that.
Second line.
Yeah.
They're the front line, you're the second line, the drummer.
And you can always like, be your own person and stand out on your own, but just make sure that, you like, even if you're hired by like Beyonce or something like that, like you make sure, you do not, because I'm telling you, they'll fire you. They'll be like,
in a minute.
That'll be difficult to do,
minute,
though.
oh, it would be difficult to do. It would definitely be difficult to do. You never know though. But all right.
Well, I like Karen's connections though. Like, I'm all about the theater. If I can like get to New York and hook up with theater, I don't care if it's men from. Oh yeah.
You're right about that, Nicole. Being hired for a female project is better than being part of. I mean, that's just a reality.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a reality. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, but. I remember when I was in this one girl band, I was with them for a long time and it was just terrible. But anyways, the leader of the group was like saying, we're all women. We're very emotional. We can't handle things. We're just like, we're weak. We're not like guy musicians. And when she said that, I said, shut your mouth.
Who said this?
The leader of the group. And I'm not going to say the name because,
oh, wow.
Yeah, this band is still playing out in the area. But yes, the leader of the group said that to us. I told her, I said, shut your mouth. That's not true. That is what people think. And that's why people have this perception of all women together. Yes, we are a little emotional. Yes, whatever. But we are strong as heck. And don't tell your band that we are weak and that we can't handle things. Yeah. That's why I was like, that whole band situation right there. I left that thing. I left it. But I'm telling you, like,
I think it's just as like that we all have like very strong personalities, us being in a girl band. That's why, like, when they say that we're weak and emotional, they put their emotions in the band and not focus on the profession.
Yes. My gosh, yes. Those words, Sean, yes.
Another artist that may have an all-female band, I think is going that way, Janelle Monáe.
Oh, Janelle Monáe, that's right. Well, yeah, she has.
Yeah, she's going to. So there's a few, and I think that's a good springboard is play with these artists that have Oscars, Grammys. You're going to get a lot of play, and then you do your own thing. Mm-hmm. It's really hard to see very few all-girl bands. Very few really break through. Like, again, I hope the Tulips do it, and you're the band on the West Coast, Onyx. I hope they,
and us.
Yeah.
And us.
We're going to do it. We're going to start this trend. I mean, it doesn't have to be us, but we're going to make it happen.
Yeah.
So this was a good one. that was a really good topic. All girl bands. If you have any comments or whatever, definitely put them in there. But yeah, so until next time, right, girls?
All right. Later.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Great day.
Hey, Riff Girl, what you got?